Let me ask you a question. What if, starting today, you made just a few small changes, habits, really, that could completely transform your life? What if, in just a few months, you could look back and say, that was the turning point? See, success isn't one big, lucky break. It's not something that just happens overnight. It's the result of consistent daily habits, small disciplines, repeated over time, that lead to extraordinary results. The question is, are you willing to make those changes? Because I can tell you this, the life you want is waiting for you. But it won't come to you. You have to go to it. So today, I want to give you 5 life-changing habits, habits that if you start them today, will put you on the path to a life most people only dream about. Let's get started. Habit 1, the habit of daily learning. If there's one thing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful, it's this. Successful people never stop learning. They don't rely on what they learned in school. They don't assume they know it all. Instead, they commit to constant growth every single day. I remember when I was just getting started, struggling, frustrated, working hard but getting nowhere. Then one day, my mentor, Earl Schoaf, said to me, "Jim, if you want to have more, you have to become more." That hit me like a ton of bricks. Because up until that point, I was trying to change my circumstances without changing myself. See, your income, your success, your relationships, they will always be a reflection of who you are. If you want more, you have to become more. And that starts with learning. So I made a decision. I started reading books. I listened to personal development recordings. I attended seminars. I turned my car into a mobile classroom. And guess what? Over time, I started to change. And as I changed, so did my life. Think about this. If you read just 1 book a month, that's 12 books a year. In 5 years, that's 60 books. Do you think you'd be smarter, more skilled, more valuable in the marketplace? Absolutely. Now, I know what some people say, "Jim, I don't have time to read." But let me tell you this. If you have time for social media, if you have time for television, then you have time to learn. It's not about time, it's about priorities. And here's the secret. Learning doesn't have to be difficult. Start small. Read 10 pages a day. Listen to 30 minutes of an audiobook. Take notes. Reflect. Apply what you learn. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. But knowledge applied, that's power. The world is changing fast. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. And the people who commit to learning, who make it a habit, are the ones who rise to the top. So ask yourself, are you growing every day? Are you feeding your mind with the ideas that will take you where you want to go? Because if not, today is the perfect day to start. Pick up a book, listen to a great speaker, invest in your education, because the more you learn, the more you earn, and the more you grow, the better your life will become. And here's the best part. This habit compounds. One idea, one lesson, one new skill can change the course of your entire life. So don't leave it to chance. Make daily learning a priority. Because if you do, 5 years from now, you'll look back and say, that was the habit that changed everything. Habit 2, the habit of discipline. Discipline. It's not the most exciting word. It's not glamorous. But let me tell you something. It's the foundation of every success story. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. Goals remain just wishes. And potential, wasted. I once heard someone say, discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. And they were right. Because you can have the biggest dreams, the most detailed plans, and the best intentions, but if you don't have the discipline to follow through, nothing changes. Most people don't struggle because they lack talent. They don't struggle because they don't have opportunities. They struggle because they can't get themselves to do the things they know they should do consistently. Now I get it, discipline isn't easy. It's much easier to stay in bed than to wake up early. It's easier to watch television than to read a book. It's easier to make excuses than to put in the work. And for a long time, that was me. I wanted success, but I wasn't willing to pay the price. I made excuses. I procrastinated. I told myself, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Then one day I had to face the truth. If I wanted my life to change, I had to change. If I wanted to be successful, I had to stop negotiating with myself and start developing discipline. See, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you neglect it, it weakens. And just like a muscle, you don't start with the heaviest weight. You start small. So here's the key. Start with little disciplines. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages a day. Make one extra sales call. Do something small, but do it every single day. Because here's the truth. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. But let me warn you, just as good habits compound, bad habits do too. Skipping the gym one day doesn't seem like a big deal. Eating junk food once won't hurt. Procrastinating on that project just for today feels harmless. But over time, those small choices add up. And before you know it, years have passed, and you're wondering why your life hasn't changed. That's why discipline is so powerful. It keeps you on track. It helps you stay consistent. It turns effort into results. I once heard a story about a man who wanted to get in shape. He told himself, I'll start when I have more energy. But what he didn't realize was this. Energy comes after action, not before. The same goes for motivation. People say, I'll be disciplined when I feel motivated. But it's the other way around. Discipline creates motivation. When you start taking action, even when you don't feel like it, something incredible happens. You build momentum. You start seeing results. And that fuels even more discipline. Now, some people ask, Jim, how do I stay disciplined when I don't feel like it? And here's my answer. Stop relying on feelings. Feelings are unreliable. They change. Some days you'll feel like working hard, some days you won't. But discipline isn't about feelings. It's about commitment. Commitment, so here's what I want you to do. Make a decision right now that you're going to be disciplined. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Decide that you're going to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about luck. It's not about circumstances. It's about discipline. The ability to show up, put in the work, and do it consistently. And I promise you this, if you develop the habit of discipline, if you master this one thing, there will be no limit to what you can achieve. So don't wait. Start today. Be the person who follows through. Be the person who does the work. Because 5 years from now, you'll either be looking back with pride or with regret. And the difference? Discipline. Habit 3, the habit of setting and reviewing goals. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the habit of setting and reviewing goals. And I'm not just talking about setting goals once a year and forgetting about them. I'm talking about actively setting goals on a regular basis, reviewing them consistently, and adjusting your actions to make sure you're on track. Let me tell you a story. Early in my life, I didn't really have clear goals. I had wishes, I had dreams, but goals, no. I would say to myself, I want to be rich, or I want to be successful. But those were just vague hopes. I didn't know what success looked like. I didn't have a plan to get there. And without a plan, success is just a pipe dream. Then I met a man who changed everything for me. His name was Earl Schoaf. And he said something to me that would shape my life forever. He said, you've got to get serious about your goals, Jim. You have to write them down, review them, and take action toward them every single day. That's when I realized the key to success wasn't just dreaming big. It was about setting clear, actionable goals and measuring my progress. Goals are the roadmap to your future. Without them, you're like a ship without a rudder. You might go somewhere, but it won't be anywhere you want to be. And that's why setting goals is so crucial. It gives you direction. But here's the kicker. Setting goals isn't enough. you've got to review them constantly. See, most people think that once they've set a goal, they're done. They write it down once, then put it away in a drawer and forget about it. But here's the truth. Goals are living, breathing things. They require constant attention. You've got to review them daily, tweak them when needed, and adjust your actions accordingly. Let me explain. Have you ever set a goal, then weeks or months later realize you weren't making any progress? Maybe it was a fitness goal, a financial goal, or a career goal. And as time passed, it felt like that goal just became more and more distant, right? That happens because we don't stay engaged with our goals. We let them slip out of our minds. And when that happens, the motivation to work towards them fades. But when you review your goals every day, they stay fresh in your mind. You're always aware of them. You're constantly adjusting and realigning yourself with your objectives. So how do you make sure your goals stay alive? First, write them down. There's something magical about writing goals down on paper. It makes them real. It makes them tangible. Then break those goals into smaller, actionable steps. If your goal is to get in shape, don't just say, I want to lose weight. That's not specific enough. Break it down. I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months. Then create a plan. What are the actions you need to take to make that happen? For example, maybe you'll exercise 3 times a week, cut back on sugar, and eat more vegetables. These small steps make your big goal feel more achievable. They give you direction. But don't stop there. Review your goals every single day. Spend a few minutes in the morning or before bed reading through your goals. Ask yourself, what did I do today to get closer to my goal? What can I do tomorrow to make more progress? I remember in the early days of my business, I had a goal to become financially independent. It felt overwhelming. I had so many things to do, so many obstacles to overcome. But every morning I would look at my goal, break it down into manageable steps, and take action. Some days the progress was slow. Other days it felt like I was moving mountains. But the key was consistency. I reviewed my goals every single day, and by doing that, I stayed focused. I kept my momentum. I also want to tell you something very important. Don't be afraid to adjust your goals. Life changes. Sometimes you realize a goal isn't as important as you once thought. Or maybe you discover a better way to achieve it. That's okay. Be flexible. The point is, keep moving forward. Keep reviewing, keep adjusting, but never ever stop pursuing your goals. Let me ask you a question. What are your goals right now? Have you written them down? Have you broken them into smaller steps? And more importantly, do you review them daily? Because here's what I know. When you set goals and review them daily, they're no longer just dreams. They become your reality. So today, make the decision. Write down your goals. Review them. Adjust them. And most importantly, take action. Because goals are the fuel that propels you forward. And with a clear goal and a daily review, there's no limit to what you can achieve. In 5 years, you'll look back, and you won't recognize the person you are today. You'll see a person who took consistent action toward their goals, who stayed focused, and who made their dreams a reality. And it all started with one simple habit, the habit of setting and reviewing goals. Habit 4, the habit of self-reflection. Self-reflection. How many of us actually take the time to look at our lives, to pause, and truly evaluate where we are? It's not something most people naturally do. Most of us are too busy chasing after the next thing, caught in the hustle of daily life, and we rarely stop to ask ourselves, am I on the right track? Let me tell you something. If you don't take the time to reflect, you'll never know whether or not you're moving in the right direction. It's like driving a car with no rear-view mirror. You might be moving forward, but you have no idea where you've been or if you're heading toward your destination. Years ago, I learned the importance of self-reflection from a mentor. He taught me that in order to grow, we must take regular moments to step back, look at our lives, and assess where we are. And the key word here is regular. You see, self-reflection isn't a one-time activity. It's not something you do once in a while when things go wrong. It's a habit of constantly checking in with yourself, reflecting not just on your successes, but also on your failures, your weaknesses, and your mistakes. Because let's face it, we all make them. But the key to growing from them is reflection. Here's a simple way to start. At the end of each day, spend 10 to 15 minutes reviewing your actions. What did you do well? What could you have done better? What did you learn? It's about looking at the little things that happened, taking stock of your day, and asking yourself, did my actions bring me closer to my goals? But reflection is not just about looking back. It's about looking forward. When you reflect, you not only evaluate your actions, but you also set yourself up for tomorrow. You use your reflections as a springboard for action, deciding what changes you need to make, what adjustments you need to implement, and how you can do better the next day. You'd be amazed at what can happen when you make this a daily habit. Most people go through life mindlessly, reacting to whatever comes their way. They never stop and ask, is this really the life I want? They don't take the time to evaluate if their habits are aligned with their goals, and they wonder why they don't see any real progress. But when you reflect, you get clarity. Reflection helps you see the big picture. It allows you to make decisions based on insight rather than just emotion or impulse. It's how you course correct, how you adjust when things aren't working. Now, I know it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, but the truth is, busyness is the enemy of progress. You can be busy all day long, but that doesn't mean you're being productive. If you don't take time to pause, to think, to reflect, you could be busy doing the wrong things. Self-reflection helps you become intentional. It helps you focus your energy on what truly matters. When I started this habit, I found that my days became more purposeful. I wasn't just moving through life like a ship without a sail. I was navigating with direction. The beauty of self-reflection is that it doesn't require any special skills. It just requires time and commitment. You don't need to have all the answers, but you need to ask the right questions. What's working? What's not working? What changes can I make? Here's a story from my own life that really hit home. There was a time when I wasn't seeing the kind of success I wanted. I had a business, but it wasn't growing the way I had imagined, and for the longest time, I blamed everything but myself. The economy, the market, my circumstances. Everything seemed like it was holding me back. But one day, I decided to reflect on my own role in the situation. I asked myself, what am I doing wrong? What could I do differently? And in that moment of reflection, I realized something critical. I wasn't taking enough action. I had all these ideas, all these plans, but I wasn't following through. I was waiting for the perfect time, for the conditions to be right. But what I realized was this: there is no perfect time. The time is now. And I took immediate action. I changed my approach, and that reflection ultimately led to a breakthrough in my business. It was a powerful lesson in the importance of self-reflection. Without it, I would have stayed stuck in my excuses, blaming everything outside myself for my lack of progress. But when I took the time to look inward, I found the solution. So here's what I encourage you to do. Set aside time every day for self-reflection. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as sitting quietly for a few minutes, asking yourself questions, and truly being honest with yourself about where you are and where you're headed. Ask yourself, what am I doing right now that's moving me closer to my goals? What habits or behaviors do I need to change to see better results? Am I growing or am I staying stagnant? What can I do today to improve tomorrow? The habit of self-reflection is like having a personal GPS system. It keeps you on track, helps you adjust when you get off course, and ensures that you're always heading toward your destination. Start making it a habit today. Reflect on your actions. Reflect on your goals. Reflect on who you're becoming. Because with this habit, you'll never have to wonder if you're on the right path. You'll know because you'll be actively shaping your journey, one thoughtful reflection at a time. Habit 5, the habit of continuous learning. The final life-changing habit I want to talk about today is the habit of continuous learning. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Jim, I've already learned so much in my life. But let me tell you, learning doesn't stop when you leave school, when you hit a certain age, or when you've acquired a bit of knowledge. Continuous learning is a lifelong commitment. It's the habit that separates those who achieve great things from those who settle for mediocrity. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you intentionally learned something new? Not something for work, not something to solve an immediate problem, but something that challenges your mind, sparks your curiosity, and forces you to think differently. For most people, the answer is, I don't remember. And that's the problem. We stop learning, we stop growing, and we become complacent. But let me tell you, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. You stagnate, you become irrelevant, and you miss out on the opportunities that could take your life to the next level. Let me share a story with you. When I first started my journey in business, I didn't have a lot of formal education. I didn't come from wealth or privilege. But I had something more important, a hunger to learn. I knew that if I wanted to change my life, I couldn't rely on what I already knew. I had to learn more. I started reading books, and not just any books. I read books about personal development, about finance, about leadership, about success. I listened to audios, attended seminars, and found mentors who could teach me the things I didn't know. But more than anything, I learned how to learn, how to extract knowledge from every experience, every interaction, and every failure. You see, the habit of continuous learning isn't just about reading a book every now and then. It's about developing an insatiable curiosity. It's about actively seeking out new knowledge every day. But here's the catch. You need to make learning a part of your daily routine. Every day, ask yourself, what am I going to learn today? Now, I know that sounds simple, but it's profound. You see, in the busy world we live in, most people never take the time to consciously learn something new. They're too busy with their phones, their social media, their distractions. But the most successful people in the world are those who have made learning a priority. They never stop growing. The beauty of continuous learning is that it doesn't always have to be formal. Yes, books and courses are powerful tools, but learning also happens through life's experiences. You can learn from your failures, your successes, your interactions with others, and the way you respond to challenges. Take a moment and think about this. What could you learn from the people around you? What could you learn from the challenges you're facing right now? Even if you're not in a perfect situation, you can still learn something valuable from it. That's the mindset of someone who is committed to continuous learning. I remember a time when I was going through some tough business challenges. I could have easily thrown in the towel, blamed my circumstances, and walked away. But instead, I chose to learn. I took those setbacks as lessons. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? And when I shifted my perspective, I started finding opportunities in the problems. This is how you turn obstacles into stepping stones. By learning, by growing, by developing the mindset that every situation is an opportunity for growth. Here's another thing I want to tell you about continuous learning. It doesn't always come from success. In fact, you'll learn more from failure than you will from success. Failure is not the end. It's just a lesson in disguise. It's an opportunity to improve, to fine-tune your approach, and to learn what doesn't work so you can find what does. I've failed more times than I can count, and each time I learned something new. Every failure added another layer of wisdom, and that wisdom became the foundation for my future successes. But let me be clear. Learning is not just about accumulating knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge. You can read all the books in the world, attend every seminar, and listen to every podcast, but if you don't take action on what you learn, it's all for nothing. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who take what they know and put it into practice. It's not enough to be knowledgeable. You've got to be actionable. So ask yourself today, what am I going to learn today that will help me get closer to my goals? It could be something simple, like learning how to be a better communicator, learning a new skill, or learning how to manage your time more effectively. Or it could be something bigger, like learning a new language or studying a new field that will open doors for you. The point is, make learning a habit. Here's how you can do it. Set aside time every day to read or listen to something that challenges your thinking. Find people who are experts in areas you want to grow and learn from them. Seek out new experiences. Try new things. Step outside your comfort zone. Reflect on what you've learned and think about how you can apply it. I promise you this, if you commit to lifelong learning, you will never stop growing. And when you never stop growing, you'll never stop achieving. So today, make the commitment to never stop learning. Open a book, listen to a podcast, attend a seminar, or just ask questions. Every bit of knowledge you gain is a step closer to the life you've always wanted. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this. Life is not a sprint, it's a journey. And every step you take, every habit you adopt, brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. It's not about perfection, but about progress. It's about the small, consistent actions you take each day that compound into something extraordinary over time. So if you truly want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Start with these 5 life-changing habits. Implement them, commit to them, and watch as your life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. Remember, success is predictable, it's not magic. It's the result of the habits you choose to cultivate. And today, you've taken the first step in building a future that will reflect the best version of yourself. Stay consistent, stay focused, keep learning, and most importantly, keep growing. Your journey starts now. Thank you for joining me, and remember, the best is yet to come.